So I'm only doing this because some of my students asked me to. They want to hear about my life story, and I'm going to speak at normal speed. All right, so if you're not here for that, you can exit this video. But I'm going to talk about being selfish and also tipping. So I can be a very selfish person, and that's what people who know me seem to think of me. That's fine, because everybody is different. If we're all the same, then life will be boring because we all be robots and do exactly the same thing. So how can life be fun in that scenario? Just like in TV dramas, there are always problems in the lives of the characters. If life were perfect, then there wouldn't be any interesting storylines from that TV show, that drama, right? Good. Anyway, let's talk about tipping. So now in North America, it's expected that you tip 10 to 15% in restaurants, but what if the service was crap? What if the service was non-existent? Look, I view tips as a reward for great or outstanding service, but I guess some of my peers think you tip regardless. Otherwise, you're a douchebag. When I worked for an advertising company between 2012 and 2014, the money was good, but the people I was around weren't. My boss was a prime example. Well, he was my manager. He was one of the biggest hypocrites I knew. During training, he taught us, to always treat each conversation as a negotiation. So you try to get what you want and not give others what they want. That, to me, is a way to encourage you to be selfish. But I digress. That man always tries to win every single conversation. He always wants to out-talk you, out-argue you, and basically he needs to be right 100% of the time. That's a sign of a poor manager or leader. But anyway, we regularly went to this restaurant called Kingsway Sushi, which was 10 minutes away from the office. I usually paid by credit card, and I always gave the standard amount of tip. But this one time I paid by cash, and because I can't do math quickly in my head, I didn't calculate the proper tip to leave behind. So I randomly left a few coins on the tray that had the receipt. My manager and the other co-workers were in front of me and they had just left the restaurant. I was walking toward the exit. Just then I heard the restaurant manager say to his waitress in Cantonese, "That's so cheap." I think he was obviously referring to the amount of tip I'd left behind. I didn't turn around or do anything. I just walked out of the restaurant not feeling happy about this. I told my manager about this situation later and suggested that we never return to that restaurant. Instead, my manager thought I was an idiot for allowing such an incident to bother me. I explained that if my money wasn't good enough at that restaurant, if I wasn't respected there, why should I go back? My manager, however, took the restaurant side. So as a joke, I then wrote down on a piece of paper where I divided service into a few sections, such as the atmosphere, the attractiveness of the waitresses or servers, the actual service received, and so on. I said that if something was lacking, I would take 1% off the tip. So let's imagine the tip amount should be 15%. Let's say if the waitress was ugly or repulsive, I would take 1% off. If I could hear chatter from other tables, meaning I couldn't enjoy my meal peacefully, I would take another 1% off. If the restaurant was too warm or too cold, I would take another % off, and so on. The ideas I wrote down were obviously not meant to be serious. But when I presented this to my manager, he called me a douchebag, and he said he felt sorry for the servers and waiters at the restaurants I visited. So in my manager's mind, I was a selfish jerk. There was another incident with that same manager. He always seemed to pay by cash, and if he got change from a fast food place, he would give all that money to homeless people on the street. That to me suggests that the guy is rich, he's loaded. Anyway, he also donated money to a charity to help African children. He told me I should donate my money as well. I'm like, well, I politely declined, and he again labeled me as selfish and not caring about other people except myself. But here's an example of a manager who didn't understand me, and he resorted to calling me names. In his eyes, I was selfish. Yet, he didn't realize I volunteered every week at Simon Fraser University with various things. Now, to me, volunteering your time at the local university was a way to give back to society, and the manager called me selfish because I wouldn't donate money. So, that's a lot of information. I hope you understood all that. Any questions, just ask me, and we'll do another video next time.